I'll try and keep this quick. I don't know about you, but I'm very eager to get in conversation with Jeff, Bard, Brian, Amy, and Andrea about their innovations. I think it's really, really exciting stuff that they're working on. So my name is James Watson. I am one of the founders of the New School. We are a low-cost, independent, community-engaged learning micro high school based in downtown Atlanta. I know it was a bit of a mouthful, but bear with me. We opened 3 years ago as a lean startup with just 17 students to learn as much as we could, as quickly as we could. We'll be starting next year with 80 students in 4 grades. We had 100% re-enrollment this year, overwhelming demand for places, and have learned a heck of a lot of lessons. So I'm going to talk about some of these lessons, but first I want to just kind of give an overview of our model so that you guys can put those lessons in perspective. So our curriculum is it's a blended learning model featuring some time in traditional classroom setting. Part of the time is also subject-specific project-based learning. And part of the time is what we call community-engaged learning. And that means a number of things. Part of the day, every day, is dedicated to essentially project-based learning on steroids. So the students go through 2 or 3 month long interdisciplinary projects with community partners. So the programs are kind of co-led, co-designed by a faculty member and a project specialist. And students have recently worked on a network. They built out a network of youth water quality testers. They have redesigned historical markers and pitched them to the city. They have worked on a diabetes intervention program with Emory University targeting middle school students. They're currently building and designing a low-cost tiny house for homeless people. So they're doing really exciting work. That's part of the day. Part of the week is also practitioner-led art programs. We have art partnerships with community partners. So our filmmaking and design programs are run by a filmmaking company and a design shop. We have a drama program, which is actually run out of a local theater, and the director of the theater runs the drama program. The day ends with one of a dozen different practitioner-led classes, again, run by professionals from the community, doing work like civil rights law with a civil rights lawyer, where the students will take a piece of legislation down to the Capitol, drone design at a makerspace with tech entrepreneurs, or public art with a local mural painter, and they'll actually work on some public art projects. So it's real-world work for as much of the day as possible with professionals. The week actually ends with that block of time that's typically sort of dead zone where most of the students have checked out as a leadership and innovation speaker series. We've had everyone ranging from Stephen Yeun, who's an actor on The Walking Dead, to Michelle Nunn, who's the CEO of Care International. And the students will actually interview all of the speakers. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to talk about some of the lessons that we've learned doing this over a 3-year period, because it didn't start out like that. Firstly, project-based work. It's incredibly hard work for faculty members. We're kind of asking a generalist, science teacher to suddenly become a deep domain expert in any number of industries. It takes a lot of time and effort. Technology can only kind of move the needle so far in that it saves the faculty members time in other areas. So what we've actually started to do now is to hire project specialists. In our first year, we sort of relied on mentors. And they were wonderful, but notoriously unreliable, and it took a ton of work to bring them to the classroom. Now for each project, we'll hire a project specialist who's a domain expert, well-connected in that field, and they'll actually bring in speakers, mentors, and bring our students out into the community, and we can use the assets of their organization and work on a project that's meaningful for them. And the great news is that those people are actually way easier to find than what we thought. It turns out also that community-engaged learning, this kind of work, is a great tool to teach social emotional learning. And at the same time, social emotional learning has to be taught to be able to do community-engaged learning well. So we have a number of different programs. In addition, a place-based education is also key to both the pedagogy and also the enterprise model for our organization. So we learned that when the project is close to the student geographically or in content, they're far more engaged. We've also found there are considerable latent assets in the community that we can tap into for free or for next to nothing, whether that's data science resources at MailChimp, it's a big company in Atlanta, a makerspace at a university, or the kitchen across the street that's not being used because they're just a brunch and breakfast spot, which helps us cut down on our costs and gives our students incredible, enriching experience out in the community. We've also learned that the biggest problem really is fighting what I call regression to the mean. It's a strange concept, but the work that we're doing it's different and it doesn't fit in the box. We're fighting against sort of a very heavy tradition-based industry and an institutionalized college admissions process. And while we have parents and faculty that are very much on board with our model, we're still kind of fighting sort of sort of looking at an excuse to do something that's easy just because it's obvious, as opposed to doing what we want to do with our model, which is really hard work, but it doesn't necessarily fit in the box. So what we're trying to do next is actually to spend more time with other educators that are doing this kind of work, so that we can talk about it, so we can kind of fight that regression to the mean. So we're building a center for community engaged learning where we're going to convene other educators that are doing this kind of difficult work. We're also looking at replication for the school, so that we can build additional communities and test whether this model works, not just in our little part of Atlanta, but other parts of the world. Looking forward to having a conversation. Those are my contact details, and thank you very much.